Good morning, students. Continuing the chapter Nature and Purpose of Business. Today we will talk about commerce. So, concept of commerce will be cleared in today's session, and you will be able to differentiate between these two terms of business and commerce. Now, let us start. In last class, we spoke about types of industries. Like types of business can be classified into two. One is industry, one is commerce. That means if anyone wants to start a business, either he can be involved in industry, he can start an industry, or he can be part of commerce. And industries, we learned primary, secondary, tertiary industries. Now today let us talk about commerce. Look at this. Commerce can be classified into two: trade and aids to trade, or we also call them auxiliaries to trade. Now, trade can be further of two types: internal, external trade. And then internal trade, one can be involved in as a wholesale trader or a retail trader. And external trade, there are three types: import, export, and entrepot. And these are the various auxiliaries which assist trade. Trade is what? Buying and selling. Okay, exchange of goods and services. That is what trade is. Now, transport, banking, insurance, warehousing, and advertising. These are the auxiliary to trade. So let us understand these in detail. Let us define commerce first. Commerce refers to those activities which are concerned with the transfer of goods and services from the producer to the consumer, which means suppose you have produced something in the industry. It could be any product. Let's say jam. Jam has been produced in one of industry. Now this has to reach the end user. End user is the consumer who is going to buy and consume this jam. So this will be done through commerce. So commerce embraces all those activities which are necessary for maintaining a free flow of goods and services. Now talking about trade. Trade means buying and selling of goods and services with the objective of earning profit. So as I told you, it can be classified into two categories: internal trade, which takes place within a country, within the geographical limit of a country. And it is further classified into two categories, that is wholesale trade and retail trade. Wholesale trade means if you are a wholesale trader, you will buy in bulk from the manufacturer or maybe a distributor. Okay, and then in large quantities you will buy from the producer and you will sell to the other dealers. So you are serving as a connecting link between the producer and the retailer. Okay, so in distribution channel comes the producer, then the wholesaler and the retailer, and retailer will sell it to the ultimate consumer. Now the other person is a retailer who will buy from the wholesaler in relatively small quantities, and then it will sell to the ultimate consumer. So this was about internal trade. Now let us understand external trade. Trade between two or more nations, countries is known as external trade. That is beyond the geographical limit of your country. This can be further classified into three categories, that is import, export, and entrepot. Now what is import? When goods are purchased from another country, and when goods are sold to another country, it is export. So you're making something in India and selling it to maybe US. Right now just medicines are being sent from India, so that is export. Import, like we imported some testing kits from China, So that is import. What is entrepot? Entrepot is when you are importing some goods with the objective of exporting it to other countries, that is known as entrepot. Suppose you buy something uh, from China to export it to Nigeria, okay, or an Indian firm imports some goods from America and export it to Nepal. So this is termed as entrepot. There basically two ports also wherein why to bring those goods to your own country when you want to export it further. So what is these Hong Kong port and Singapore, these are the famous ports, which are even Dubai, these are used for the entrepot trade activity. Now let us understand auxiliaries to trade. All those activities which help in removing the obstacles or hindrances which arise in connection with the production and distribution of goods are known as auxiliaries to trade. Now, let us find out more about these auxiliaries. Suppose now in the factory, the good, let's say it's a notebook factory which manufactures notebooks. They have manufactured and it is kept. Where they will keep it? In the warehouse. So warehousing is one service. Some people have their own warehouses, or some people they also hire it, depending on the size of the business, basically, and how much money they can afford, how much size, how much their investment is on the plant, on the land, all those stuff. Now from here the goods are to be transported. Okay, these goods are to be transported through, you will use transportation, either roadways, railways, airways, whichever is apt. So transportation is one auxiliary which helps in removing the obstacle of place. Along with transport, communication is also an important service. It helps in exchange of information between producer, consumer, and traders. So these days, common communication services are like mobile phone, internet, and also your emails, right? And yes, few people do use postal or courier services. Next is banking and finance. Now, finance is the most important thing when you are running a business. So business funds needs funds for acquiring assets, purchasing raw materials, and meeting other expenses. So either they can use their own funds, and in case they don't have enough funds, they can always approach bank. Okay. Now, insurance, again, as we told, risk is involved. When risk is involved, to cover that risk, insurance is mandatory. It provides a cover against the loss of goods in the process of transit, storage, theft, fire, and other natural calamities. So, to cover the risk, insurance helps. Warehousing, as I told you. Now, see, good is getting produced, or the new notebooks are getting produced in X city, but the demand for these notebooks are there in several cities. Now, how will you ensure that there should be less time gap between the when the demand rises, you should be able to supply it at once. So warehousing helps us removing this obstacle of time lag. This problem can be solved by storing the goods in warehouses from time of production till the time they are demanded by customers. So it's not that today if customer is demanding, you'll start producing today. You'll produce it before you, because you know the demand is going to come up. Maybe schools are getting open, demand is going to come up for notebooks. So you will start producing it beforehand and you will start keeping it in the warehouses. And from these warehouses, it can be sent to various destinations. Now, advertising. Advertising plays very important role in bringing your product in the market. It should have some people should be aware that okay, this kind of notebooks are available which has a better paper quality, or any USP is unique selling proposition of your product. So it is through advertising that customers come to know about the new products and utility. The first thing, what is, how do we come to know, okay, this new biscuits have come, Oreo has launched a new flavor, or maybe a new soap has come in the market? Through advertising. As an end user, as a consumer, who educate us about the new products? The advertising. So this is how advertising supports the trade. Fine. So these were the auxiliaries to trade. Now, guys, as I had told you before also, one of the characteristics of business is uncertainty, risk. Risk is involved in business. So what is business risk? Let us now define it. So business risk refers to the possibility of inadequate profits or even losses due to uncertainties or unexpected events. Now, let's say, for example, demand for a product may decline due to change in taste or preferences of consumers or increase in competition. So this will be risk to your business. Any see, risk can be of many types. Now first, let us classify risk broadly into two. One is pure risk and one is speculative risk. If I have to define pure risk is nothing but when it involves only the possibility of loss or no loss. That means either there will be a loss or no loss. There is no profit situation here. Let me give you an example. Suppose there's a chance of fire. Okay, so fire may happen in your business place or it may not. If it happens, there will be a loss. Doesn't happen, it will be no loss. So this is what pure risk is. Now, speculative risk. Speculative risk involves both the possibility of gain as well as the possibility of loss. Like if you invest in stock market, so it's a speculative thing. You may make a profit or you may book a loss. So this is an example of speculative risk, right? Now, let us talk further. What are the other causes of business risk? Now, there can be natural causes, like right now, due to COVID-19, most of the business are getting affected. Yes, so this is a natural cause. Human beings do not have any control over such causes or natural calamities like flood, earthquake, famine, or a pandemic. They result in heavy losses of life, property, and income in business. So this is what natural causes are. Now, human causes, wherein humans are involved. Humans are involved, you know, in such unexpected events like dishonesty and carelessness. People are get, involved in activities which are going to adversely affect the business. Rights, maybe management's inefficiency can also be a cause for business risk. Now, economic causes. They are related to chance of loss due to change in market condition like fluctuation in demand, prices, all these competition, change in technology, all these are part of economic causes. Now, physical causes. If you're using certain machine, okay, it breakdowns, machine breakdowns, or mechanical defect or failures may also lead to losses, right? Example, bursting of boiler or machine may cause death or destruction. Other causes can include unforeseen seen events like political disturbances, war situation, then fluctuation in exchange rates. So all these are the causes of business risk. I hope you have understood. So this is the end of today's class. Thank you.